Christ advises, beware of judging and misleading others. From letter 5. Man's inbuilt impulse to protect his own individuality had made him set up rules and laws for human society. The universal creative power, love, had absolutely nothing to do with the setting up of human restrictions, limitations, laws and judgment. From letter 6. If your present consciousness is permeated with love of possessions and an inability to share with others, devising ways and means to become rich at the expense of others, stealing, failing to perform your work conscientiously or give good value for money, snapping, snarling, indulging in criticism, sarcasm, judgmentalism, rejection, denigration, enmity, intolerance, hatred, jealousy, aggression, violent impulses, thieving, falsehoods, double and devious dealings, slander. You are ego-driven. Your ego is in control, and you will find it difficult to move through the miasma of ego consciousness to be able to see reality. From letter 7. The fruits of the ego consciousness are discords, disruptions, climatic upheavals and abnormalities, wars, addictions of every kind, poverty, diseases, murder, robbery, lying, cheating, slandering, backbiting, low miserable thoughts, envious thoughts, angry thoughts, bad humors, judgmentalism, criticism, sarcasm, rejection of other people, etc. These consciousness frequencies are forever bringing forth mirror reflections of the circumstances and feeling reactions which gave them birth, and are continually subject to the highs and lows of fulfillment of expectations and disappointments, swinging between happiness and misery. Those who, through prayer, meditation, self-discipline and determination, manage to purify their consciousness of ego and lift it by defining and entertaining ever more sincerely loving thoughts towards other individuals, and the world generally, gradually ascend in consciousness to the vibrationary frequencies of the realm of divine consciousness, the kingdom of heaven, where they live comfortably and at ease in harmony with the universal laws of existence. Such people find that no matter what may be the troubles and uproar in the world around them, they are nourished, healed, protected, cared for, and maintained in perfect peace of mind, providing they remain within the spiritual frequencies of vibration. From letter 8. Do not be afraid of future withdrawal from the earthly mindset. You will relinquish it, little by little, with infinite relief. Your true goal in life will become ever more clear, and your determination to reach it will grow ever more strong. You may argue that you are not often mentally or emotionally engaged in magnetic emotional thoughts and feelings. But when you examine your spontaneous thoughts, you will find that you are completely dominated by magnetic attraction bonding and magnetic repulsion-revulsion thoughts all day long. Your mind keeps up a ceaseless chatter of comments and judgments, criticisms, wants, don't wants, reactionary feelings verging on resentment or rejection, longing for certain things and fears that the longings will not be fulfilled, striving for success and irritation or anger with those who stand in the way of that success. When the ego is in control, the one who prays does so with faith and yearning. Immediately after prayer, on meeting someone, the trauma just taken to God to be dealt with in the right way is sorrowfully aired to gain the comfort of human sympathy. But the consciousness form and force released during prayer, the asking, the faith and the yearning, are now cancelled by the self-pity. The mind is usually a bog, a quagmire, of conflicting ideas. From Article 7. Everything in existence is consciousness appearing as different materials in plants, animals, humans, and in inanimate things such as the elements and stones, earth, metals. Everything you encounter is really electrical particles vibrating at a certain rate, producing certain appearances. Change the vibrations of a thing radically, and inject it with a new consciousness, and you have a different commodity. In this way could I, with the powerful use of my visual imagination and belief, draw together the electrical particles to create food. When you visualize what is needed, and believe with all your heart and mind that this electromagnetic blueprint will draw to itself the components to make it real in the world. Eventually, it will manifest itself. This revelation has been around for a long time, but the even greater revelation has been overlooked. Beware of what you may be creating for yourself when you have no idea you are doing it. Beware of those judgmental, critical thoughts which can harm another human being and can return to harm you also. Beware those unguarded emotional moments when you wish certain circumstances or events on another. Destructive thoughts bring about destructive consequences. Have you found that things continually go wrong for you? Examine your attitudes and your thoughts about other people. Remember that electricity sends out the message and magnetism brings it back, sometimes with interest. Remember that when you look upon things with grave disfavor or irritation, you are interfering with their natural vibrations which make them what they are. Beware, lest, unwittingly, you bring your own house down around your ears. From Article 10, to create a happy, successful life, you must take the greatest and daily care of the various elements and facets of your consciousness. You will remember and try to practice non-criticism and non-judgmentalism, for these are destructive of others, and eventually, we find ourselves in a similar firing line. You will try to control your anger, searching your mind for reasons why the target of your anger behaved as they did. This will diffuse your anger. You will try to find lovable traits about everyone you meet or see throughout your day. Otherwise, you will, all unknowingly, be radiating an offensive consciousness energy, which will be picked up and resented by others. Possibly, all of these facets of consciousness are already known to you. But now I want to tell you about the dangers of fragmenting your consciousness. You do this even when you tell a white lie. A black lie is a horrendous insult to your own consciousness and to the consciousness of your listener. You may think that it is of no consequence, but when you lie, you send out a stream of false consciousness on which you expect other people to build their responses. Such a hitch in your consciousness, since you know you have lied, creates holes in the fabric of your own consciousness. Where there are holes in your consciousness, there is a hiatus in the life force you expend on activities and goals, and a foul-up in the consciousness which keeps you healthy and happy. Even in your communication, it will cause a lack of the vibrancy and certainty that those with whole and healthy consciousness fabrics are able to impart when speaking to others or even simply leaving a spoken message. A healthy consciousness is created when you treat others as you would like to be treated. Therefore, fulfill your promises or make provision that the breaking of a promise will not cause undue frustration or unhappiness or difficulty. Tell the truth in such a way as your listener will not be offended. Love always finds a way. Do not fabricate stories to make yourself a hero or heroine or victim. Do not exaggerate a circumstance in any way, since you can send another person away with a falsehood in their minds. This can be more injurious to them than you can imagine. Never, ever cause another person to stumble or fall along their daily path. Let everything you think, say and do be a harmonious whole directed in your mind and heart by love and concern for every other person's well-being. In this way, you create the foundation of a whole, happy life for yourself. You create the type of consciousness which is easily attuned to that of divine consciousness. Then, miracles happen. If you lack success, examine your consciousness. Do you keep your word? From Article 11. Criticism is the biggest obstruction of all to inner happiness because it is highly destructive. It is reflected in the person's life because when you judge, judgment comes home to roost, as the saying goes. Criticism of others interferes with their well-being, and consequently, as we damage others even in the slightest, again, the damage will return with interest. Therefore, when you undertake to walk Christ's way, you must understand that it is a path of relentless self-analysis and finding the courage to look at your actions in the light of love, willing to see the truth about your thought and emotions. As you move forward along the path, it becomes easier to move into a perception of the truth of others. of what drives them, motivates them, causes them to make mistakes in their relationships, in their workplace and close family. The more you can empathize with others, understand what motivates them, perceive the difficulties which push them into ill-considered actions, the higher becomes your own spirituality. Your own sense of compassion and love towards those who, you now realize, are really doing the very best they can in the environment and circumstances they have created for themselves. From this standpoint, it becomes easier and easier to apologize, until the time comes when, seeing the truth of the other person so clearly, you cannot wait to forgive and erase all tension and criticism of them from your thinking. When it comes your time to pass over, such an illumined person, living in peace and harmony with the entire world, will move into a state of utter blessedness and joy. They move into light and there is no looking back at earth. At last, they find that they have moved into that dimension of being where they are content and fully at peace. After a while, they begin to notice that there are even higher dimensions of existence, and they set about preparing, enlarging, expanding their consciousness to absorb even higher vibrations of divine consciousness, and they become ever more creative and radiant transmitters of unconditional love. Such people are truly the Christ consciousness,